G'day everybody. I thought we'd just take a quick wander around since I didn't do a tour last month. I ended up getting a bit sick and the garden's been a bit neglected, overgrown with grass since then. But I've been out the last few days replanting, so let's go take a look. Alright, so the onions that were in here have all come out. I've replanted some adzuki beans, as well as behind this West Indian arrowroot, which is doing really well. I do need to put a little trellis back there for these beans to climb up, and I also put a few beetroots in here, but you can see I've still got some empty spots where I can put a few more. The little stevia plant's still going. It's starting to flower, so I might have to take some cuttings off of that soon. So these are my little perennial leeks, which I thought were dead, but you can see a few have just recently re-sprouted. So I'm going to try and keep those alive for a little bit longer until they're about that size, and then I'll plant them out somewhere else. Now, as for my little potted garden here, you can see it's been moved. Not really a lot has happened. Most of it's died off. Most of the beans have died off. This little yellow tomato is starting to come back. The same with the little jalapeno here. The only thing that is doing really well is this bush cucumber. It's actually got its first one right there. So this is my yacon, which is just suffering being in the pot. I think it just needs to be watered more often. And yeah, like I said, I've been neglecting everything a little bit lately. So. The same thing with the pinot. It just isn't enjoying the heat, I don't think. There's a couple of little fruits on there that are getting close to being ready. I'm not exactly sure when they're ready, so I'm just sort of waiting for one to fall off before I try it. So another thing that's pretty much dead is the raspberries. I moved them over here into the afternoon shade, and hopefully next year we'll get something out of them. But yeah, you can see there's a lot of damage to these, even just the yellow raspberries, just from the sun. The same thing, this little Moringa tree keeps dying. This will be the third time that it's died. It just keeps re-sprouting every time, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I might have to take it inside and just keep it completely dry, because whenever it seems to get wet, it dies. The grape, I've still got to plant that out at some point. I've got a bunch of little mulberry tree cuttings here, and I'm pretty sure they all have roots, but I'll be potting those up in the next week or so, just before the roots outgrow this pot. One of my little blueberries, the Biloxi, it's doing pretty good. This is one of the new ones. It's even got a little blueberry there. What else? I got my Alpine Strawberries, which I gave a little feed to, and they've started flowering again. But they will need to be potted up because the roots are starting to grow out the bottom of them. Yeah. So I do still have a bit of lettuce from that little potted garden that I was trying to build, and some perpetual spinach there. They could probably use a bit of watering. So there wasn't really anything in this little bed before, just the sage and the chives. It had a lot of grass growing through it, so I pulled it all up and I planted some carrots in here. You can see the baby carrots have already started to come up today. So hopefully these are a different variety. Hopefully they'll just take a couple more days. But yeah, you can see the grass really just starting to take over. I had the same problem with this, and again, the grass from outside just grows up through the edges, so you're always pulling out stuff like that. At least in summer. So mostly just leeks in here. This is a green zebra tomato that was growing between my guava trees. Sorry about the wind. I'm not sure if that'll survive this little self-sown Roma tomato. It's been doing really good. I've been getting lots of tomatoes off of that lately. And the only other thing in here is a few little pearl onions that didn't quite make it, and this big thing of thyme that's fallen over. And there are a few strawberries in here as well. Alright, so I've pulled out all of the potatoes in here, and I've replanted another 8 along this spot here. And then I was going to put a couple more in here. I still have to pull out all this grass. But I did find this one, which I think I planted a few months ago, and it just didn't do anything. I guess it's been waiting for the heat to break a little bit, maybe, but it just sprouted itself the other day, so I'll leave that in there and see how it goes. I almost forgot about these pigeon peas. They're getting pretty big, as you can see, but they haven't started flowering yet, so I'm still waiting for that. But this is another good one to use as chop and drop. But yeah, I would like to try the pigeon peas, so still waiting. Okay, so this main garden bed here, there's not really a lot going on. It's been mostly taken over by grass. I've got some black-eyed peas, which are still producing a few here or there, but I will need to replant those again somewhere else. Got my comfrey, it's still doing good. I had tomatoes here which have died off. You can see the old stem, and there's actually this one which is just resprouted. So these are the Lucky Tiger tomatoes, the green and pink striped ones. And this one also has resprouted, so I'm just going to let them go and we'll get a bit of fruit off them before it gets too cold. There was a few little spring onions or pearl onions in there, but they've been overrun by the grass. You can still sort of see one there. This little eggplant is still going, it hasn't done much really. And yeah, another Roma tomato, which has sort of survived. But yeah, we might take that out if it doesn't start flowering soon. It might be right. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that patch. I've got my strawberries here. I got in and weeded them out a while ago, but I'm going to need to do it again. And gave them a bit of feed, and you can see there's plenty of fruit coming here. So as long as I get to it before all the other animals, that's alright. So this patch up the back, it's probably still doing the best out of all of them. I've got lots of sweet potatoes. I had potatoes planted here, but they've been overrun by watermelon and pumpkin vines and stuff like that. I do have a really nice bird's eye chili coming in here. It's doing way better than the other one. The other one is about that big, but I'll go show you that soon. So I've just been coming through. There's another pigeon pea here, which isn't quite as big, but it's a bit of a shady spot. So yeah, I've been coming through and trying to pull up all the weeds, and then I'm going to replant stuff along here. I had a few potatoes in, but they don't look too good. Plenty of potato ladybugs around eating them. So I'll pull those up, and you can see it's been taken over by these sweet potatoes next to it anyway. Whoa. Alright, silver beet. And now I've got this pumpkin here, which I'm not really a fan of. It's a tromboncino, so they can be eaten like as zucchinis. But this one's been getting a lot of end rot and stuff like that. Here is one that made it. Must have got pollinated. But yeah, it's just a bit wild up here. There's lots of weeds that I need to get in and pull out. And you can see this silver beet's just been destroyed by caterpillars. So I'll get in and I'll pull all that out. See if we can't plant something else here. Okay, so one of the only tomato plants to survive the heat was this yellow pear tomato. It's got a lot of stink bugs living on it at the moment, so I'm not too sure about how good the fruit will be. I've had a few little rotten ones lately. Oh yeah, but here's my other bird's eye chili. You can see it's a lot smaller compared to that one, the other one. Hopefully. And yeah, it's just watermelon vines and pumpkin vines everywhere. I've had 2 watermelons off of this, just a little one and then that bigger one. A few little butternut pumpkins. This is my Kent pumpkin. You can see it's doing pretty well. So this yacon that's in the ground, it's doing much better than the one in the pot. It's a lot taller, a lot healthier. It doesn't need watering as often. I've also got my yellow Marconi capsicums here that are doing pretty good. They need to stay bagged here, otherwise the fruit flies and stuff will get them. But yeah, they're starting to ripen now. And I did replant a second crop of these green beans and yellow wax beans, and I have got a few handfuls of them, but it doesn't seem to have done as well. I'll leave that one for seed, but they don't seem to have done as well as the first planting that I had. But yeah, I'll get a few off of there. There's a couple over there now. You can see those. You can see I've got a lot of the acorn squash. So they taste similar to butternuts, in my opinion. But this vine down here is all part of this one Kent or Jap pumpkin that I planted over there. So it seems to have spread out in a few directions. It made it very difficult to get in and mow all of this. So up the back is still pretty much out of control. Yeah, so I've got to just try and walk around it if I can. But then again, I haven't been up there to check how many pumpkins are growing on this vine. I found at least 2 or 3. You can see it's weaved itself all the way through the old corn patch. And there's one there. I mean, that one didn't make it. But yeah, they sort of do take over everything. You can see it's already climbing up the shed wall. So that'll be interesting. And again, I did have another tromboncino here, which I was trying to get rid of. Oh, okay, well, that's a good example of one. Anyway, I don't know if you can see that, but it starts here and it goes all the way around and finishes right there. So you can eat these as zucchinis when they're very young, or you can let them mature like this one has into a pumpkin. I'm just going to leave it a bit longer and then I'll try it as a pumpkin and see if I like it like that. Otherwise, I might not bother planting those again. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the vegetables. I got a couple of little self-seeded green amaranths in here, but yeah, I'm not really too concerned about those. Just let them do their thing. And yeah, I still need to get in this patch and get rid of this tree and clean everything out so that I can plant up here.
And I still have my walking onions, Egyptian walking onions. Now I might need to pot these up as well, but you see they're still doing alright. There's a few bits have died off in the heat, and but lots of new growth, so I'm not too concerned about that. Plus it's split into about 4 or 5 since I got it, so that's doing really well, I think. And we got another pigeon pea in here with the banana, so it's doing good. And again, I'm still just waiting on those to flower. But I have been using this one as chop and drop, just to try and feed the banana a little bit. So yeah, it probably needs a bit more than what I've been giving it. So my little blood orange is still doing alright. There's still plenty of fruit holding on. I'll probably take a few of these off, just so that I can have a couple of decent sized ones. Sorry, everything's been rearranged because of the mowing. So I need to get some weed mat and lay it down against the fence and put all my trees on top of that so that I don't have to move them every time I need to mow. So red cherry guava, it's doing alright. This is my Mexican cream guava, and it did flower, but none of the flowers seem to make it to fruit this year. So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly why that is. What we got here? So this is my little dwarf Navelina orange, and it's got one bit of fruit. Cobweb. I've got a few little pink Hawaiian guavas still holding on to the tree. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get a few of those ripe and I'll be able to try those. I mean, these are the ones that I have had before that I know that I like, so I'm looking forward to that actually. So a little blueberry, could probably use pruning to get rid of all these dead branches, but you can see it's already started flowering. So we might get a few blueberries off of that in a couple of months. The Tahitian Lime over here is doing really well. It's still got a lot of fruit on it. The little grafted branch there is doing alright. Doesn't seem to be any fruit on that. So I did end up losing my other little yellow cherry guava that was sort of holding on there, but oh well. It has started to flower again, and it will need watering again. Just noticed these were starting to droop over, so that's a good sign that it could use a water. All the old apple trees are still going well. This little lime, this little finger lime, has recently gone mad with new growth. So all of these little side branches, all the way down here and all the way down here and here, that's all within the last week or so. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything that's flowering. The acerola has started flowering. I haven't seen any fruit on that yet, so I'm not sure if that's gonna produce any fruit or not, or if it's just gonna flower and then all the flowers will fall off. But yeah, I do need to stay on top of watering them, and yeah, you can see these strawberries are suffering a bit because they need watered more regularly. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.